first of all, again, thank you for giving me time before this moment, but I just want to ask you, nights like tonight, when you get up there to share your story and how it's impacted you personally, what does nights like this mean to you personally?
Nights like this are so special because the journey that I've been on for so many years, to get to this point, to be able to stand on this stage, to be able to talk to people, to share my story, to have a voice is so important. And it took me a very long time to get to this point in my life, and to be able to stand here tonight in my hometown, just in the New River Valley with all my people, all my special people in attendance, and some of the athletes from Radford and the students. I'm just really excited to be here and to share my story and just talk about resilience and overcoming and what we can do to share our stories and, you know, use that in good work for a good purpose.
You know, when I talked to you a couple of years ago, and just to hear your story and just see all the things that has happened, when you look at first you weren't going to share it, but then you say, hey, you know, if I'm a journalist, I should be sharing stories. I'm asking people to do the same thing. But is it kind of, when you look at it, it seems like it's almost therapeutic every time you do this, because, you know, it's probably bringing back a lot of memories, and it's probably touching a lot of emotions.
Yeah, the opportunity to share, as you mentioned, being in those shadows of shame for so many years, being afraid of judgment, fear of judgment, striving for acceptance all the time. Being able to come out and share this story, share my story, pull the curtains back and show people it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be transparent, that it builds authentic connection. And I feel like years ago I didn't have that ability. I didn't have that courage to step out of my fears. And now having this opportunity to share my story and be open and transparent and remind people, you know, my parents died of prescription drug overdoses, but they're not defined by how they died, but by how they lived their lives. And it's my mission and my goal to carry on their legacy and do good work through that.
How often do you do this a year?
Whew, that's a great question, Jermaine. Good question. How many times a year? Well, you know, now that we've kind of slid out of the backside of this pandemic, a lot more opportunities have come up for in-person events. We still do some hybrid events, but I would say on average, you know, I'm doing upwards of maybe 20 events a year, 30 events a year at different events, whether it's corporate events, high schools, colleges. I've gotten the opportunity to speak at a lot of different locations, meet a lot of different great people in different communities, and it's really been cool.
You know, around here we know you as, hey, you're Giles, you know, the dancer at ESPN. But when people hear your story, what's some of the things that come back from them? Because I mean, obviously there is a perception of you being an ESPN broadcaster and all these things, but like I said, you peel back the layers and people look at you. I mean, what are some of the reactions you get once people, because people see you ESPN, but then they hear this story, I'm sure they look at you a little differently, not in a negative, but it's like, wow, I'm blown away by this.
I call it being real. Being real with people, being authentic. And I think that it's so easy to judge a book by its cover. Oh, she's on ESPN, she's out reporting, she gets to cover sports for a living. But on the inside, you know, we're all going through challenges, we're all going through struggles. And I just want people to realize, like, we're leveling the playing field here. We're all on the same level here. And I want to talk to you shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand, and have that genuine conversation, that genuine connection with people, because we're in this together. And if we stand together and love one another, we can provide that spark and that hope that people are always, you know, craving and wanting in life. Because again, life is hard. Life deals us a lot of challenges, and none of us need to walk through it alone.
A couple of quick questions, because again, I appreciate your time. I know you're pressed, but I got to ask you, you know, doing this, I mean, I see you get ready. You're getting hype about this. You're like fired up.
Yes.
And it's an emotional thing. You just get hype. I mean, how do you channel? What do you channel to go out there and share this story as many times as you do, whether in front of people or a hybrid situation, whether you're doing it in your hometown area or doing it in front of a corporate event in Los Angeles?
Purpose. That's the number one driving force, I think, behind all of this is purpose. And knowing that when I walk in a room, whether it's 5 people or 1,000 people, that someone in that room is going to hear my message and my story and use it to help them get through whatever they're going through, maybe to remove some of the shame they might be feeling, to stand tall and say, you know what, I can get through this. There is light at the end of this darkness. That is my goal. So I know that everything I do when I walk into a room is on purpose.
And obviously your career, I mean, I even saw a video of you at WTAP, and then you were intern at Channel 7, and now you're at ESPN. I mean, and you still have a lot more to give. You're not done yet. I mean, you're not done yet. You know, like Scott Van Pelt said, I'm not tired yet, or something like that with his songs. But, you know, when you look back at, you know, do you like look back and you say, wow, I've come from here? It was like the song, start from the bottom, now we're here. And now you're like at ESPN, and you're doing a lot of great events, and you're covering a lot of great things. I mean, from you were Giles, and now you're at ESPN. I mean, do you look back at it and you say to yourself, wow, I know I've come a long way, but I know I got more to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I always say I'm a work in progress. But when I look back to my roots, Giles being home for me, grew up in Roanoke, went to Giles High School eventually when we moved, and it's home for me. It's where my heart is, and I'm so thankful for the people, the community that led me in this direction, helped to sort of foster this pathway to success. And then obviously, you know, going to Rutgers, experiencing college there, and then ultimately, you know, making my way through the TV ranks, and, you know, making my mistakes, and, you know, messing up on air and live TV and shaking off all the nerves. Getting to ESPN has been such a blessing. And I always say, you know, always a work in progress. I've never arrived, but I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be a sports reporter, to share stories that I feel like have meaning and purpose and that can inspire other people's lives.
Now, when you look at, you know, you have a lot of people that look up to you, female broadcasters, men too, look up to you because of what you've done. Young broadcasters want to be where you are. What is the biggest piece of advice? You just spoke to a broadcasting class over here at Radford. What is the biggest piece of advice?
You showed up. Yes. I recruited him.
There you go.
Yes.
That's the man. It's cool. What is the biggest piece of advice you give to young broadcasters? Because a lot of them, they want to be where you are, you know, and they see what you do on the sideline. And I know it takes a lot of hard work to get where you are today. What is the biggest piece of advice you give to these youngins out there? You're still younger than me, but what do you give them? What do you tell them?
My advice to them is to, just put your head down and work. Get as much experience as you can while you're in school, internships, do everything you can. But it's also just being open-minded, knowing that you might have your sights set on a particular area in this field, this broadcasting field, but keep your mind open, keep your options open, and know that, you can get experience in so many different areas, and then eventually there's that opportunity to step into that role that maybe you've dreamed of, or you find something else that you're really excited about, something that you're passionate about. And then I think gratitude, having gratitude for all the people that are in your sphere, because it takes a village of people to make broadcasts possible, especially live TV in front of millions. And so being thankful and grateful to all the people that are out there, that go out there and do their job, whether they're running cable on the field, holding the parabola for 6 hours, holding the handheld, camera up in the booth, whatever it is, being grateful, building those relationships, I think are also important.
This is my final question, I promise. Is there an event that you haven't covered yet it's a two-part question. Is there an event that you haven't covered yet that you want to cover, number one? And number two, what do you feel is what is your favorite event you ever covered, or a game or something you've done?
That's hard. I mean, obviously it'd be great to cover the national championship in college football on the sidelines. Number one would be awesome. I've been there, I've covered it behind the scenes and doing other things, but on the sidelines in game will be a great opportunity. Would love the opportunity maybe to cover the Masters. Maybe be on a national broadcast for NASCAR. I feel like the world is endless. Haven't dabbled in NFL yet. Maybe professional football would be pretty cool. So I feel like I have a lot of things out there, but I'm very happy with where I'm at right now, and I want to really relish in this moment and kind of take it in, because it's easy to get ahead of yourselves and say, man, this is what I wish I could do. This is where I want to be. But I'm kind of taking it in now and just enjoying the journey, and I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Well, first of all, Lauren, thank you so much. You're awesome. You're a blessing. I respect the heck out of you, and I know you're going to rock the rest of the way. So
yes, thank you.